And we're live.
Yes.
Salam alaikum.
Okay, so Venezuela, Nadir. I'm just kidding. Okay,
That line's
So,
getting
yeah.
cut out. So, anybody see the news?
Saw the news.
yeah.
There's a lot in
There's
the news
yeah,
nowadays.
ICE news. That's definitely something we got to cover. Yeah. So in the span of how many days? I mean, we've seen more than one shooting by ICE
Did we have two?
and two shootings. Yeah.
Yep.
There's been two. So, and the way that, at least the way of what I'm seeing is that things are escalating. There've been a lot of protests, right, in Minnesota, and
Yeah,
also
bro.
not just Minnesota, like all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like thousands of people marching, protesting this, and rightly so. I mean, because based on what I've seen, what I've read, the videos I've watched, the way that the Trump administration has been enforcing immigration, it seems to be much different than previous administrations. And I think we can already see that they've been given some type of mandate to be a lot more aggressive, to be a lot more lethal and harsh. And that's just and
The
a
Nazi
lot of
like.
yeah, pretty much. And we're seeing that show up in the way that they're handling situations like this, right? And they said in the beginning, like, we're going to go after the worst people, the worst of the worst. We're targeting the criminal illegals, right? We're going to target these people, and we're going to get rid of these people. But at the same time, a lot of their language has been contradictory. They've been caught in lies. Like if you look at a lot of the people that are pretty much the majority of the people that they've detained, it's not people with the criminal records. It's actually the people with no criminal records, and that's in contrast to what previous administrations have done. So seeing that most of the detentions that they've done are of people with no criminal records. And I guess this is what's going to happen if you're given a broad mandate to do sweeping immigration enforcement, right?
I don't even think it's a mandate, bro. To say that they're given a broad mandate just gives it too much credit.
That's
I mean,
true.
but that's what it is.
Hey,
They've
bro,
been saying,
their mandate is detain
go and be
100,000
harsh
people.
and be lethal. But their mandate is like, look, in the first administration, they did something like family separation, right? And that was to serve as just a deterrent type of thing. I think it's a very similar mentality that they're carrying over now, which is just intimidate, harass, and just go everywhere and just present a situation of fear. And then I think that's the harshness and the cruelty is the point, right? And so it's,
I guess.
But that's the way the Trump administration goes about everything they do. The way they go about things are in the most erratic ways, in the most violent ways. And honestly, like, they're illegal. They don't make sense. It's not for the people, by the people. No one really asked for this.
There are people that asked for it. That's why the owners made that elected.
Right, but what I mean is by like the way they're going about. And when I say there's no people that ask for this, I mean like the majority, the masses, the consensus of people, the way we want to go about things. We have so the whole point of ICE is because they're illegal, they're breaking our rules the way they got here, but then they're breaking American rules by the way they go about handling it. So then it's just like, you're not going to have a good image that way. And to be honest, a lot of people who have said negative things about Trump and people defending him and maybe him defending himself by saying fake news, even though that's not really a defense. But honestly, like, everything that people have been saying about him is like coming to true, like he's being exposed. And he's not even the type of person to hide what he's doing. And I get that.
And that's why the exposure doesn't matter. He
But-
said it. Look,
But the
him,
exposure is for the people. Sorry, but the exposure is for us, because this should be a lesson learned, because it's not
it's
like,
not gonna be.
no, I think it is. I think it for
No.
sure is. No, I think
A lesson for who?
I think it is.
Exactly.
It's gonna be
Listen for who?
It's
For
going to be a
Americans?
lesson for the American people in the sense of, the voting rights, things like that. So think about it like this. Right now, you have actual governors for an entire state. Texas, for example, is literally saying, we do not want ICE here. We don't want it. Florida, I don't know if this just happened yesterday or today or just in the recent days, but Florida, even the dude who's running, he's not actively in office, but he's running, and he gave like a whole spiel, and he was name dropping, and he was like really eccentric in the way he was talking and things like that. And people were like clapping him on, cheering him on. Even this crazy, what is it called? The storm, basically, from now. It's like an Arctic blast. We had people outside still protesting. It's different times. And also,
are you talking about? I'm sorry to interrupt. Are you talking about the abolish ICE movement? That or just
sounds like it, because I
trying to
looked up the
curtail
Florida
their
ICE thing
powers.
real fast. and
not
that was the Democrats.
necessarily. I don't even think it's necessarily about abolish ICE, get rid of it entirely. But I think it's more so like how they've been going about and who these people are, and they're even married to like immigrants. Like the dude who shot the lady in the face. I hate to even word it like that because she has the name. She's important. She needs to be, talked about and things like that. But his wife is like from the Philippines, immigrant. And shout out to the Philippines. Shout out to the immigrants. There's no problem with that. But like, there's so much like it's just spiraling down, And they think they're doing something for the American people who are saying, oh, they shouldn't be here and blah, 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 and this and that. They're really not. They're really not. And like Haroon said earlier, they're going after, like, they're literally going to places of work, Walmart. They're taking employees, They're not going after. You know what they are doing with the drug dealers? Guatemala. They're freeing them. They're giving them basically their freedom. They're basically
Guatemala.
Yeah, Guatemala, because Donald Trump went into Venezuela and said, oh, it's because of drugs. Dog, you just pardoned a $400 million kingpin.
Honduran.
My bad, bro. I think I made the same mistake. Editor. Anyway, so like it's literally, I'm saying, it's just spiraling down, and it's gross in the way they're going about. And to be honest,
So who's gonna learn the lesson? Who's the lesson for?
The lesson is for us mainly. Why? It's because it's us who put people like this into position. I'm not saying.
Here's the thing. Now we get to the crux of a problem.
Oh, I know the lesson.
How do people
my bad.
justify? How do people justify this? You have to convince someone that they're wrong. You can't justify this. You can't say that ends justify them. That don't work.
Right. So how you justify it is you show the clear contradiction. You show how it's un-American. You show how you preach freedom and you always talk about democracy, but in reality, when we see it play out, it's not what the forefathers talked about. It's not even what they themselves talk about, or
That's not working. That's not
I
working.
don't think they care.
I don't think they care. I black people. I got Native Americans at work. Let me go ask them. I'll let you guys know in the next episode.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I'm gonna obviously need to like think on it for like a minute to really
think on it for a minute.
Yeah. I think this is a lesson to the Democrats. Don't put up no weak sauce candidate like Kamala Harris, because then we might not have ever even been in this situation. I mean, literally, I don't want to go backwards in time, but just really quickly, like it's not that, yes, there's a lot of misogynistic, sexist people, awful people in this country, right? Racist people. But at the same time, like, they should have just put those two, Biden and Kamala, to the side and just ran and put up like, okay, who's the strongest Democrat? You could have ended up with Gavin Newsom or somebody that could have legitimately beat him. That's one thing. So we would never have been probably never have been in this mess if the Democrats chose not to run Kamala. The other thing is, like, yeah, I don't think a lot of people are just gonna. Well, ICE's approval is like gone down the drain, right? So like
Probably.
in a way, like that's good too. I think like Democrats are moving to impeach the Homeland Security person, whoever that is.
Win. Like, don't even get me started on this stupid
Who
Democratic
is
Party.
the
I'm
Homeland
sorry.
Security person?
Christy Nome, the word border Barbie.
Oh
whatever her
yeah.
nickname
That's
is.
who it is. Yeah. So I mean, people are waking up, especially with all these killings. I think there's a lot of awareness being built, and it's going to transform into protest, definitely. And we'll see, like the midterms will come up, and usually the party in charge, right? They usually will end up losing seats, especially if economy's in the gutter, like it was Trump had his lowest approval rating on economy end of this year. All the tariff stuff was really bad, and now this ICE stuff compounded, and on top of that, just destroying our reputation overseas with our partners, and even in Europe, like people who are supposed to be friends with us are starting to hate us. So all of this compounded, I think, will hopefully lead to like a decline of this movement. But unfortunately, like right now, they're in charge, and it's really bad. There was something like weren't they saying that we'll take ICE out of Minnesota if Minnesota gives us the people on welfare or something like. And this is that's what it was.
If they did the voter records,
the voter records and the welfare stuff.
Pam Bondi said it twice.
This just goes back to, dude, these people, all their whole agenda is just like, remember, the whole MAGA thing is like, okay, cut taxes, deregulate the economy, cut welfare, mess up with these voter rolls. We don't want these, brown people voting for, Democrats because they inflate their numbers. And then obviously it's the imperialism. What else is there? And then the racism, oligarchy. It's like 4 or 5. All MAGA is like 4 or 5 agenda items, and ICE is really like just a nasty manifestation of part of their agenda. Yep. And I mean, it's been 1 year of so much damage, dude. What, 3 years? 3 more years of this? Dude,
we'll be all right.
I don't think so. I think it's gonna get worse.
Well, think about it. We survived 9/11, dude.
Yeah, but maybe we'll be but still,
yes. Who's not gonna be
There's still, even if I don't know what, like someone else is suffering from this, maybe they're getting the back end of it. Maybe it's not doesn't affect us the way it's gonna affect someone else. But I mean, if it's fair for me, it should be fair for Joe Schmo too. Like, if it's gonna be all right for me, it should be all right for all the Karens. Like, that's just what unity is, and that's like a formula, So that's why we're stronger together.
Should we also devil's advocate for ICE?
Yeah, well, it's like
you can.
Here's the thing. I was put like in a weird position today on a Blue Sky comment for The Verge, and they did the thing that someone left a comment saying like all ICE agents. And like immediately my logic class went into effect, and I said,
hasty generalization,
and more or less. But I kind of took it a step further, I think, and was like, because like at work in general, there's like a massive influx of ICE officers of some point that are coming from the Bureau of Prisons, and like the Bureau of Prisons pays next to nothing. So these dudes are like, the average age for a correctional officer, whether it's state or federal, is 59 years old. So they're switching sides early in a person's career to go to, the ICE people and to just say, yeah, sign me up and I'll just go out and quote unquote follow orders, because they've been known to follow orders. I had an inmate stand down once in a state prison, and he complied, put his hand behind his back, and we escorted him upstairs. I tagged along for the trip. I found out a couple of days later there were a bunch of officers who were upset that they couldn't go in and beat this dude up.
Really?
Yeah. Don't let that surprise you, listeners.
On the flip side, it's like, dudes, they need money, and like the job ain't paying much, and you're up in like, easily to be at 16-hour days. You're working 16-hour shifts at one shot, whether you like it or not. Like, I can sympathize to a degree with BOP officers making their way over to ICE, but it's like, part of me is focusing on the trees when the whole forest is, when like the forest is on fire. And the person nicely pushed at me. They pushed me back. They pushed back at me and was like, "Yo." At the end of the day, because it sounded like playing both sides, and I was so mad at myself. I'm like, "Ooh, I'm playing both sides of the defense, aren't I? I think this person's right." I was so mad because it's like, I don't know. Like, I get why some people would sign up and fall in line because it's just what we do as Americans when in relation to our government. Does that justify it? I've been trying to think about how to, like, is this.
If the money's good.
There you go.
Dude,
There
they're
you
putting
go.
the money in like $40,000-$50,000 signing bonus. Just
But still, in
dedicate
a
2
tough
years.
economy,
Doesn't
in a
matter.
tough economy, like, oh, they're giving me good government benefits, good salary. So what?
And they
I
don't
can
have to
go-
worry about the morals because they are the law, quote unquote, or So
No,
like
here's the thing.
Trump
This is
is
what I
gonna
learned
back them up.
This
These
is what I learned
officers
about
are not
being in
gonna
the
be
hood.
reprehended. They're not gonna. They could violate every single rule, and you're gonna see them
Yeah, the orange man will back
buy
them
a
up at the end of
house
the day.
and
But
5
it's
months
like-
from now shopping at Walmart. Like,
Yeah,
and
Haroon,
people, and for
Hold on. Last thing. One thing I've realized about being around inmates and being in a hood of some type, again, was that when people are put under pressure, they don't have time to think about the moral and ethical implications of their decisions. They don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
And then the outcome is something stupid like this, and it makes me freaking sad, bro.
yeah.
It makes me sad. And like, thank you to this person. I don't mind Yahya as my phone. I would shout them out on the thing. Maybe I'll just put it in the notes. I don't know, bro. Like, alhamdulillah, like the forest is burning and there's some trees that I'm gonna cry for.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be as ugly as it is, But at the same time, like, there's no moral code. There really isn't. The moral compass is broken for a lot of individuals, and a lot of individuals equals a large group of people. And no dean, their hearts are made of stone, and this and that, and they don't necessarily have their guidance. At the end of the day, they're gonna do it. This is their way, or they'll lie to themselves and just be like, "I need to survive, and my survival comes with a price tag, and I got a family to take care of, and I got wants and needs too." Or maybe I also stand very firm on Trump's administration and policy, and I want to get these people out, and I don't care if it causes harm or damage, because in the bigger picture, it's gonna do more good. When you look at in 10 years from, you'll hate me now, but in 10 years you'll thank me, kind of thing. That's their mindset or their ideology and things like that.
Yeah. Or in addition to that, it's just like when they're going out and doing this stuff, like let's say you're involved in some type of altercation and there is a shooting, there is a killing, there is some loss of life or something. Some of them might just be like, look, we acted to the best of our ability and we made a mistake. The whole public thinks it's a sin. We committed a sin and a crime. But from our vantage point, we are the good guys. We're trying our best in a difficult environment to act and follow the law and procedure and basically the orders we've been given. So I think a lot of them are just like, we're not bad people. We just make mistakes sometimes under pressure and under a tough job, right?
Wrong. And I say wrong for very few reasons. They're hired goons. I've seen already videos of actual police.
Definitely a lot of them.
Like, no, you have no authority and you don't have jurisdiction over me because I'm a sworn in official. That's number one. Number two, bro, they're masked up. They don't show their faces for a reason. They wear sunglasses at night. Like, they're straight up goons. That's what they are, They're just thugs, but they have government official backing. You know what I mean? So like, for them to operate the way they do and to go targeted, let's be real, people are being targeted, and it's and mainly the Hispanic community. It's not across the board. They're not going by the rule book. They're going by like a hidden agenda. It is what it is, and that they
But-
wearing mask
Okay,
stuff.
so to get these types of government jobs, there's no serious background check. Their criminal history is not being checked. They're all
Oh no,
just anybody can
as
just
someone who has a government job,
yeah. So it can't just be like, bro, I've committed all these crimes, and I'm like I have all this junk on my social media about how I love how you like horrible things, and then they just let you on board. So I think yes, definitely some of them are these maybe people with racist mentality, but to like overgeneralize and say all of ICE is just like a racist agency that is out to get brown people. I think maybe a bunch of people in there are like rotten apples, but then like, do you like the agency as a whole? Like, I mean, it's definitely acting like, and even like, I don't know. I'll say another thing that's maybe a little pro ICE. It's that when you look at some of this footage, like the last guy who was killed, that nurse, right?
what's his Peretti? I don't know. It's a part of me.
Alex Peretti,
I think
right?
so.
And it's just like bro, if I'm an ICE agent and I'm trying to do my job, and maybe I'm doing a terrible job, but still, let's say you're doing your job on the street. There's something you have to take care of, and then somebody's coming up in your face and filming and getting in the way of what you're trying to do. You're potentially obstructing, and then you're resisting arrest. You're doing these things that are disruptive to immigration enforcement. You are putting yourself in harm's way. It's just like people who, if a cop pulls them over and they start resisting arrest,
First Amendment.
they start being annoying to the officer.
That's where I'm going to jump the line, and it's like
they're gonna get reactive, bro.
But
that's not to defend overuse and of force. That's not to defend that.
There's a problem with that argument. Not to say that you're making that argument, but there's a problem with that argument that gets made. Are we making a false equivalency between federal law enforcement, ATF, FBI, whatever it is, even city cop, with what that, like, we don't know what the court has said, what the actual jurisdiction is for an ICE agent.
Yeah, I don't know. So, well, they are kind of like
that's where
police,
it pushes,
right?
No, I'm an officer, but all my whole jurisdiction stops at the end of the property of the federal prison.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know the specifics.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you. And then like feds, it's not like they have the same authority, like the FBI, for example. It's not, or the U.S. Marshals work with the FBI. The U.S. Marshals, they'll hold on to an inmate, someone of suspect. They catch them. Hey, you've been suspected to do this, and this is the evidence we have against you, and you're going to court. That individual that's in the midst of that, the Marshals, for example, their only jurisdiction is wherever that dude goes.
Okay.
They transport a suspect or an inmate from point A to point B. The FBI's jurisdiction is to say, okay, we're going to be here because this is a crime scene and it's going to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
Different than a county cop when you speeding down, like your side street or in the school zone, God protect us. That city cop's jurisdiction is within the confines of said city. County is within the confines of the county. Where the responsibility lies is different for each branch of just, policing, for example.
Yeah.
For me, it's within the federal prison. For county city cop, it's within the city. For the marshals, it's just in regards to the inmate as they work hand in hand or not with local law enforcement. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
ICE, the ICE folks, it's hard to say exactly, at least at this moment, to my knowledge, where that line is drawn. Do they work hand in hand? Are they supposed to work hand in hand with local law enforcement?
I think they are.
That authority with like sometimes the federal guys can do, but then usually that really only has to do with when that suspect or the criminal makes his way across the state line, because then that local law enforcement leaves the jurisdiction, they'll leave their jurisdiction to get to another place. ICE folks, technically, if that's the case, I think you're right, bro. If there's a law person, please leave something in the comments or ask a law person. What's the jurisdiction of ICE? Are they similar to the marshals?
Yeah, and yeah, Homeland Security in general, if they're working in tandem with FBI and law enforcement, then I'm sure they would get a lot of the rights to do a lot of the normal everyday kind of
I
police
don't know
work,
if they
right?
are. I don't know if they are though.
And so are Democrats making the, because what I see is that, like, oh, they're being ruthless, they're acting like thugs, they're killing innocent people. But are people making that legal
Words.
argument? Are people making with this argument like it's beyond their jurisdiction? I don't think I've heard
I've heard
that.
it. I've heard it from like an Elizabeth Warren or something like that.
Oh, because that's something maybe like, yeah, somebody knows about the legal stuff, but
But like it
I
has
haven't
to go
heard it
through a
from.
judge.
I've just been hearing like, oh, the argument against is just these people are Gestapo, they're thugs, they're killing innocent people. We should abolish the whole thing. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of where's the actual legal. I don't know.
I don't know,
But
like,
then
where's the legal argument? I'm at the limits of my knowledge when it comes
with
to that.
executive branch and Homeland Security, I feel like they can construct arguments like law enforcement in times of they have emergency
Yeah,
powers.
Orange Man is
They'll
making
play with
he's
this jargon,
creating a
man.
problem. He's playing with it. He creates
they
a
got the
problem and then
back door
provides a
covered.
solution.
They can create this jargon to like allow it and say, oh, executive authority for the sake of Homeland Security, and I feel like they'll create some rationale.
100%.
Yeah, they're trying.
It's easy. I mean, and then it'll be a circus again. Like they say we have the rationale, then it's like Venezuela, man. Sorry to go back to Venezuela.
Oh, good.
They're all like, no, we can do it, and then the argument against is it violates international law, and you can never get these two on the same page. Like, I don't know. So yeah, that's it.
So here's my thing. Like, my question is though, it's like, is the ICE problem, and are people who are attempting to justify ICE, do they fall in that dilemma of the ends justifying the means or otherwise, or is it something completely different?
I don't understand the question. I'm sorry.
You get what I'm saying, though, Haroon? So
Yeah,
there's a question in philosophy, Nadir, of asking if the ends justify the means. Yeah, and you have a goal. The goal is righteous. Let's make the country safe. Okay, how do you go about doing that? You arrest everybody, and 2 Americans get shot, and you arrest Americans. All this stuff. You follow what I'm saying? What you're seeing on like social media and on TV. Does the fact that the end goal is something is righteous make everything else in between okay, or otherwise?
For the goons in the MAGA movement, the ends justify the means. But for a public relations point of view, you're not gonna say that. In a public setting, if I'm a Republican official, if I'm in the Trump admin, I'm gonna be like, look, immigration enforcement is doing its job. These are America's finest. They're doing their job. They're being obstructed, and there are people in public causing problems. They're gonna stand on that, and they've been standing on that. And obviously,
they're not going to answer the question.
They've been caught in that. But I can definitely see like certain like goons in the MAGA movement who just like the mask is off. They don't care. Yeah, just do it. Get them out of there.
Right.
Like so it could be like. It could be both. It could be both, if that kind of answers it. Because
I don't know. Is there like another? Can we see this through like another lens? That's also what's been on my mind for like the last day and change. Or is like everything means justified by the ends, or vice versa?
Like everything Machiavellian?
Yeah, I didn't think about the Machiavellian power thing. I know that was.
I mean, it is kind of.
Neither, you know Machiavelli? Not the Tupac, but
Nah,
who you tried copying. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I follow. Yo, 1 sec. I'm gonna go turn on the light in the room. It's getting dark.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, his approach definitely is very much interest based, and I will do what I want and maybe kind of justify it later. Maybe that's kind of how they think. Like they don't, or are they thinking and then implementing, or do they do and then we'll come back to it?
It sounds very Giuliani. I can imagine someone commentating that.
Like you justify it later.
I know we'll justify it after the fact. Let's see what happens. Hey, does this work?
They just like just throw stuff, just keep throwing stuff out there, like whether or not, and then we'll fix it up later, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's very
well,
amateur.
You know how
Yeah,
they say
yeah.
ask for forgiveness, not for permission, or something along those lines?
Yeah.
yeah. I could see that. It's just like, all right, let's just throw out we're gonna militarily annex Greenland. Let's just throw it out there, like without even thinking, right?
Yeah,
And
see
if
what
they
happens.
really did their thinking, they could have came to another conclusion. Let's just throw it out there. And then people contest it like they normally would, and then they're like, okay, well, we reached an agreement or something, right?
Yeah.
I think part of it isn't that like there's some flood the system something.
Flood the courts.
No, but there's some strategy, some like Steve Bannon or somebody promoted this strategy.
That sounds like anonymous.
No, like you just keep throwing stuff out there and just like
Yeah,
it
I think it was
everybody.
Bannon. I think it was Bannon.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That sounds like Bane talking.
Does what?
Bane. Sounds like Bane talking.
But yeah, dude, I'm not yeah, again, it's so from so ice, man, I don't have anything more to kind of say to it. Do you guys want to?
I don't know, bro. That's
I have one last thought, inner thought, intrusive
Russ.
thought. Let's say I
Yeah.
could be wrong. I'm just speaking to speak right now. But it's an internal problem, and when I say internal, I mean internal within the government. This is happening because the government failed, and the government has been failing for a long time. So everything they've been doing is just going to look like a complete failure, and it spirals. Why? Is because the reason we're in this mess is because of bad policing in the first place, bad border control, bad upholding policies and things like that. We wouldn't have gotten this far if the government was supposed to be doing what they were doing, you know?
Trump
And
says that of Biden.
I understand, but this is because look, you have things that are like implemented. Oh, why don't you go and become a citizen? It's been 2 years. They got me on hold. This is not right. This is not like the way that things should be going about. And not only that, but like we mentioned earlier, you know, if you are, you know, of course, some people are going to get in, and some people maybe have gotten in, you know, due to, you know, by like good means and all that. But at the same time, they could have turned criminal, or they could have maybe gotten here legally so they can get their homies here illegally, right? So you get one legal, and then he brings in 10 illegals, something like that, right? And then you have people, of course, who are bribed, paid off, things like that. And at the same time, some people, they plan for chaos. Like false flags are a real thing. These aren't conspiracies, right? So you may have like people that purposely neglect the border so it can get so bad to the point where now it becomes the situation of what it is, and it's probably going to get worse, right? Because these are the early stages. And let's keep it funky. America got their hands in a lot of dirt all over the globe, and everyone is looking at what Israel's doing, getting away with total abomination. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. If I didn't have a moral compass and I didn't believe in Allah, yo, if Israel's once you can, I said this like 3 years ago.
Exactly.
Once you can convince the world that it's okay to kill babies, nothing. That's it. You have won. You can do anything. Once you have convinced the world that it's all right.
Isn't that like there's the Voltaire quote, which is like, if you can get someone to believe in absurdities, they will commit atrocities, something like that. There's that like Voltaire quote. But no, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
I think they did it to themselves. I think
when your compass is so shredded, I mean, what is the pits? Like you can what kind of like moral pits can you descend to? It's like end bottomless.
Yeah,
right.
for real. for real.
Pretty much.
And again, intrusive thoughts, folks. Like this is, I'm just, sometimes I speak before I think, if I'm being honest, but at the same time, I think there's some truth to, everything that was mentioned. And it's probably even darker and more evil than what we think. To be honest, that's what I think. I mean, I don't even really want to say what I really think. I just want to say something that can, pass off to the ears to the point where it's like, okay, that sounds like something I can get behind, or that's something that like all you need to do is just scroll through Instagram, turn on the news feed or anything like that, and you can see it live stream happening right now. And because we're living in the digital age, that's why I think a lot of these things are going to get better. I really think it's going to get better, and I think the government is somewhat going to get better. I think Gen Z gonna save us. I think them not knowing how to write cursive may be something that's going to benefit them, because now they get to put that extra time towards politics or something like that. Because I'm pretty sure there's a statistic that came out like literally maybe in 2024, and I think it was showing that there's more youth who are involved or want to be involved in politics or speaking up than like ever before in any like historic timeline. So not only that, but everyone, whether they have a voice or feel like they have a voice or they have access to being heard. You don't necessarily need to be Mahdi Hassan on the mic. You can just go live. You can just
look what we're doing.
Yeah, that's like what we taled about that one time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was me and you,
Right.
Haroon, over a text message. Then this happened.
you know. And
That's
a lot
true.
of people
I
get
heard
suckered in, Look at this story Fat Joe just told. I couldn't even believe he told this story. He said he got a cousin in the military who's been doing it for 12 years. And Joe's talking to him like, dog, everybody does it for 4. Why didn't you just come home? He literally looked at his cousin in the face and said, I like killing people. I legit like killing people. And
Yeah,
I've
that's a
heard
whole
this
nother
from
episode.
white old heads.
But here's the thing, that's another episode, because
Yeah.
I know some Muslim chaplains. I know 2 Muslim chaplains that are in the army, and they both said in training, like basic training, as you're going through under the thing, they're playing the adhan and other Muslim things in the background as you're going through this.
Say that. What?
Dude, you remember Malik from Hartford?
My brain just crashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Malik.
him. I forget the other brother's name. They were both one of them was from Texas. I forget where
Mhm.
Malik is from, and he was saying that we're in basic training. You're there, and whatchamacallit, like they're playing the adhan and all like these Islamic references. They're getting played over a loudspeaker as they're running around shooting targets and all that other good stuff.
Ultimate brainwashing, yo. That is crazy. They don't even need what is it called? MK Ultra.
It's happening right
They don't
there.
even need MK Ultra. Man, this is wild.
Has anybody seen what happened at the World Economic Forum?
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
another thing. I was like,
But like for me, I mean, at least for me, like what was getting passed around was that Carney speech by
I think it was that the Canadian guy, right? I didn't. What was
the
that
Canadian and and also like the Netanyahu wasn't there, because if he did show up, the ICC would have arrested him. Switzerland would have arrested him. But anyway,
Shout out to Swiss chocolate.
yeah, shout out Swiss Army knife, or is that Switzerland too? Yes, shout out Swiss banks. And yeah, so basically, dude, and there's a lot like went on there, but Carney's speech was it was so good, man, because I think it really, and he didn't even specifically mention Trump, dude. And it was just like, look, this whole US-led order, post World War II, of free markets, of international institutions promoting so-called democracy, freedom, human rights all over the globe, like with the US at the core. This did a lot of good for Canada, and Canada was elevated in its status over the years. But at the same time, it's all crashing down. There's like been a major rupture, and we're not going backwards because of what the way great powers have been acting and the way they're using like their weight to oppress, like through tariffs, and they're causing problems in trade and diplomacy and international security. And obviously he's mentioning the US, right? And so we have to chart, like middle powers like Canada have to chart a different way. And this is like, even this is such a good lesson to other countries like middle power, especially in Europe. Like, look, this is the way maybe you have to go now, because the Trump administration, they've just damaged US credibility. They've shown they're not really reliable. If he gets into a tantrum, if he, you know, just gets moody one day, he's going to throw tariffs on you. He's going to start publicly mocking you. He's going to start whatever. Like he just said, we're going to put 100% tariff on Canada because he said, oh, Canada, if they do a new trade deal with China, every Canadian import is going to get 100% tariffed coming into the US. So this is kind of how he is. It's like the US is not reliable anymore. And Carney kind of just, I'm glad like somebody put their foot down and said, look, this is the right way. And it's a good lesson for the Europeans too. And it's good that they actually stood up to him when he said that, oh, we're gonna annex Greenland. And it looked really bad for him. But he went on the stage, bro, and he was like, everybody's been so ungrateful. I heard the prime minister of Canada, he was so ungrateful. And so this guy, you can't really he's just like a disgusting child of a human being. In many ways representative of a lot of people, a lot of Americans, to be honest, are like that. So we're getting a reflection of a lot of the American public, honestly. And so, and look, you know what's happening? There was this great article by Fareed Zakaria. And this actually comes before the Davos thing, before the World Economic Forum. And he's like, basically, the world is adjusting to what America is doing. Because with all this nationalism and protectionism and all this like America first stuff, the world is just gonna keep moving on. Like what these European countries did, they signed like this new like trade agreement with Latin American countries. It's gonna create one of the largest free trade zones, like brand new, like with hundreds of millions of people, with like Brazil, Argentina, and other countries. And they did that because and the US is not in it, right? China is Canada's making new deals with China. And China even is like, look, you want to shut off your market to us? We're just going to trade with other people. And now they're running like record surplus on their trade. They don't care. We don't need the US. So in a way, like what America is doing is we're isolating ourselves.
Literally, yeah. What do we have to offer in the first place? Besides like weapons and fighter jets, that's probably our #1 export. It's literally weapons.
Yeah. But we also have the tech industry, and I hate to say this, AI chips. What do we do? Like we pushed Jensen Huang into a whole thing with China and like taking 25% of their sales between them and China.
NVIDIA. Yeah,
the NVIDIA guy.
Yeah, we basically, yeah, dude. That's why, like, I mean, even with Trump, everything is just, with this administration, everything has just been transactional. They're very transactionalist in their approach. Yep. It's not great foreign policy, and they're susceptible to corruption and bribery, and we've seen that. There's countless examples.
Look at that family's net worth went up. In just 1 year, he's back to being a billionaire. His son's probably going to be a billionaire before his term is even over. Like it's crazy. Like it's crazy, and it's theatrics. It's really theater work.
How is it also normalized though? Like, how has it been allowed? Like, if Obama did like a fraction of this stuff, it would be like drone strike him. Like,
I have an intrusive thought. as an answer to the question. And I'm gonna go with my intrusive thought right now. But I honestly I think the bigger picture is behind the scenes, because if you look at all of these like I don't want to say like major events, but pivotal events and smoking mirror things that are happening, I don't know, like this is gonna sound weird, but at the same time, Greenland and what's happening now has been like mentioned in like movies from like the 90s and things like that. And also like not only that, but I think this ice thing, the reason why we're doing this is because they're pushing for either revolution or civil war, but they don't care about the Civil War. They care about martial law, because that is when they are in total control. They don't want us protesting. As much as they can just ignore it, as much as it doesn't affect them, they don't want the pushback. They want us on board.
Oh,
they want to shut us up, and they want to monetize everything. Like, look what's happening with there's something new that Instagram actually came out with. I just saw the video yesterday, and it shows you like a setting, not necessarily a setting, but something extra that you need to, I don't know if it's like an external app or like a third-party app that works with Instagram, made by Instagram also, so you don't get shadow banned. And now people are like, why does this exist? Because I thought it was free game, you know what I mean? Or I thought like the whole shadow banning thing was like supposedly fake to all you suit people, to all the people in suits. You know, we experienced this firsthand, right? So it's different. And then it's just like they just keep getting caught in their lives. But to pedal back to my point, I think there's like a hidden agenda that's behind this, and there's something that, you know, it's not like, oh, the Simpsons 9/11 and then everyone's like, oh, you know, let's just run with this theory and this and that. But like it's almost funny how it just happens in like the weirdest things, like things about like Queen Elizabeth from like stuff like that, and things about like specifically like Greenland and like pivotal things in like history, and not only that, but like even like small minute things that, you know, would normally go missed, that people just
Nadir.
Hey, look, from the
Yo, look
60s.
up Project 2025. Look up Project 2025. That's one part of it. What's the other one? Isn't there like some theory of history that like you can, what was like this Ibn Khaldunian thing? You can like divide up history into like cycles and then just find the pattern in the
epochs or something.
Yeah, it's never the
I know the Twain, the is it the Mark Twain quote that like history doesn't repeat itself but it rhymes or something?
Something to that effect. What was the other thing?
I like that.
I think that's a Twain quote.
Wow.
Or maybe it's attributed. Might be attributed to him.
It's like it's scripted. I wouldn't call it simulation. I would literally say it for what it is. Scripted. Like, we live in scripted times. There's no way the people that are higher than the cabinet, than the president, are going to allow someone just come and just lottie-dottie through and do what they want. You know, there's no way that's gonna happen, because everyone is reporting to somebody. And there's a bloodline of people in this history, and there's people that came on board, and there's people that, you know, like want to. There's people that want to be a part of, like, you know, I don't even want to call them elites, because to me they're not elite. They just have a strong network. They just have a group of friends who are in the right places, and everyone is a queen piece. They're not pawns. They got a team full of queen pieces where they can move all across the board. It's not like, oh, you're a pawn, I'm a queen, I'm a bishop, he's a knight, blah, blah, blah. No, everyone is a queen, and everyone like this, and it all plays out. It's just domino effect in the story. It doesn't write itself. It's pre-written. And they want to play
Yeah,
God.
it's
My
fucked
bad.
up. My bad, bro.
Wallah, they want to play God, and they know that Allah has said that, hey, this life is pre-written and things like that. You know, that's not to take away from free will and things like that, but they want to play God. They're fighting God. They're going against God. Their real battle is not with me.
They plan and Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planners.
Yeah, I mean, you can find these archetypes in the Quran. Literally,
Yeah.
like they think their wealth will make them immortal and these type things. And there's people trying to cheat death, and they're trying to build these nuclear bunkers and whatnot. Like, who's that guy, Brian Johnson, spending all this money and whatnot on, yeah, we don't want to die. It is basically like, you know, oh, let's go to Mars. Maybe we'll find, you know, let's keep expanding. But it's like at the same time, it's like, for what we're racing towards these new frontiers, and you know, what were they saying, like they want to genetically edit babies and stuff, and it's like what are we doing here? Like
Right.
what are you trying to do?
They're not gonna reach their goal when you have veterans who are homeless. It's gonna cancel itself out. You're not gonna reach that goal when there's so many problems, and maybe they don't like live in the real world, which they probably don't, and they probably have no idea what's going on. Like that one lady, dang, there was an interview I saw recently. It was actually between this one black dude, I can't remember his name, and some lady, I think from Britain. She was like a politician lady, but older. Like she's still like, you know, has her red carpet and tiaras and all that, but she's not active. And they had like a conversation, and the lady actually thought that, like,
find the reference, bro.
the world was all cool, and the racism didn't exist, and I think she said, like, there's only one state that had like a homeless crisis, and everyone on the show and even in the audience was like giving her reactions. Like, she was so delusional. And to be honest, I think she mirrors a lot of these officials. I think she mirrors a lot of these officials, especially the ones who are like brought into it, you know, because you have a lot of these. 2028. Yes, sir. I saw him shoveling snow in the city.
Yes, I saw the show.
Stop playing with my boy.
That's not performative. That's real. That's real show.
So yeah, may Allah protect us from being delusional, man.
I mean,
psychohistory was the other point. It's like there's a TV show on Apple TV from it's like that really famous like writer. He wrote The Foundation amongst other things. Isaac Asimov. He uses it, and like it ends up also like becoming to this whole thing. It's just one of many theories on like examining history and how you know, you can see patterns in history and the type of people and what you can be done to affect it. Like in the show, Asimov's universe that he creates, it's very also like like mathematics is also driving force. Because you know, you can be able to predict things to a certain degree, and I don't know, it's a cool show.
Yeah, dude, a lot of these, I mean, you can look back at, I mean, just science fiction and all these what's been produced, and whether it's in like books and movies, fiction, whatnot. Like, it's all kind of like, are we moving towards some semblance of that reality?
Like art imitates life, or life imitates art. Find like this really cool.
Life imitates art.
Yeah. I mean, if there's enough art being thrown out there, somebody's got to get somebody's gonna get something right. If there's like a million predictions being thrown out, like somebody's gonna get it right. You know. Like,
the thing is, it's a competition. When you treat it like a competition, everyone is your enemy. If I'm fighting for first place, everyone in this race is opposition. That's not gonna change. That's not gonna change.
We need competition in the market. We need options for customers.
Yes, we do.
Federation.
Yes, we do.
Sound like a free market capitalist. Free market, like what is all these, like, you're just promoting like
there's a way to make it like I think a lot of their policies and things like that, I think they're right, but they're poorly executed. You know, there's like a healthy way of going about, you know, it's just like saying how like, yo, milk is actually good for you. Drink a gallon of milk and tell me milk is good for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like you gotta
Are you saying too much water will kill you?
It actually will. Your like cells get diluted with water, and you just can't survive.
honestly,
Lady
don't-
get it.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll kill you because your body will vomit it out before it drowns you.
She drank too much water. She ended up dying.
No
Who did?
way.
It was like some radio contest, and it was like, yeah, like her cells just kept in too much water. And
Oh, I see how that
process.
works. Okay.
Dude, some
Hello.
of these people, you know, these food eating contests where these people are just shoveling down food. Dude,
Yeah.
some of those people like die from that.
I don't know. May Allah
feel
protect
like-
us.
I
Let's
don't
save that for another episode, y'all.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought of that.
Man.
So food eating contests.
Food eating contest. Tune in next time.
I look
Yo,
like
we
I
do
need
that.
a food eating contest. My skinny.
Bro,
bone.
you just eat
All
food, dog.
No, but dude, sometimes
It don't matter.
the skinny guys, the skinny ones are the not the underdogs, but the ones that the good ones,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true. Salute, salute my skin and bones out there.
With that said, like, comment, share, subscribe,
Inshallah.
5-star ratings, all the other good social media stuff. Barakallahu feekum.
Barakallahu feekum.
All right, y'all.
Everyone.
Assalamu alaikum.
All right. Oh, thanks. Barakallahu feek.